Okay, so trade recap real fast for this morning. Let's go back to 5-minute chart here. This morning, woke up. I didn't do any Wyckoff because by the time I got up, this was already taken off. So it's taken off, and I see over here that this is creating a distribution. Zoom in a little bit so I can back out. Yeah, maybe not. Let's do this. I always lose my place, like what am I looking at? Where am I at? What's going on here? Here we go. So now when I zoom in, I can go back here and we can look at this. So I saw this going up, 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 and I thought, okay, you got a little pullback here. And it's kind of a fake out there. Look at that. But look where it jumped down to. It jumped down to this institutional candle. Then it went back up, got some liquidity, went back up, and then it started bouncing around up here. I was going, this is unique here. It's having a hard time going anywhere. From there, I kind of drew a line right here, and I looked back, and we're right here. Look at that. About right there. Look at that institutional candle right there. And let's see here, about halfway. Let's go about right there. All right. So that's about roughly where it's at. Okay, let's go back and look where look at that. Perfectly. Sorry, my internet's in and out. Forgive the audio sounds. Anyway, so it's up here bouncing around. I jumped in here with a pretty heavy size, and then a few other trades, close to about $7 a pip. And then I took it and I sailed it all the way down to here, and then from here I saw that. Well, actually, I had to go to work. Day job was calling. Even though I work for myself, I had to go to work, and where I'm going, I have no internet. So I wouldn't be able to monitor this trade. And so it came back, and immediately after I got out, I knew it was going to bounce back because, as I'm looking at this, let's see if we can't. Man, I must have just messed it up when I did that. I wish on this MetaTrader that it would stick around. Those squares would stick around on the same situation here. On this, the squares would go even regardless of what time frame you're in. They would stick around. But see, look, it's gone now. I guess it might on MT5, but I'm still on MT4. I have both, but anyway. Point being, came down here. I jumped out. It spiked up. I thought about getting back in right here. I did but I was driving and I was about to lose all cell phone reception, all internet out in the country, building the outdoor fireplace for these people, and I was like, oh no, I'm not going to. And of course, later on I find out. Look at that, drops all the way down here, and let's look at that and see where it went to. Okay, so I guess you could see that as an institutional candle. These two together. If I went up one more chart, these two would be one big institutional candle. Maybe even three. And then, so it went to the institutional candle, it found liquidity, it bounced, and then, of course, it curled back up. Look, it's manipulating the lows, and it did a accumulation, and then took off. And I didn't see any of that. But, hey, I grew my account by 60% on this one trade, and I was happy about it. And you know what? If I can just keep myself from looking over at gold, which that's where it was on when I started this video. If you notice, I just pay attention to gold. I find it fascinating, but it does kind of move according to Wyckofian standards and stuff. But it's not really. In fact, I want you to look at this. I was looking at this. I may have this completely wrong here. So you're coming down here. You're breaking structure, right? You're breaking structure here, and you're going up. You're manipulating, coming down. You're manipulating the lows. You're coming up, retesting, coming down, and then you see this, and you see, oh, it's creating a channel. It's the creek. Look at this. That's the way I would see it, right? It's up, down, up, down. It's getting lower, lower, lower. Pretty soon, it's gonna, according to a reaccumulation, it should break to the upside, break structure, and then take off this way. But it did not. And so you can see why I have a hard time looking at Wyckoff method and looking at gold, because it doesn't always, it doesn't. It's a commodity, and it's based on so many things, it's hard to control. You look at these pairs, USD, I mean, these things work perfectly. Look at that. It comes down here, stops, and buyer's climax. It comes up here, and it retests, comes back down, and of course we're manipulating the lows here. And I wish I could zoom in without losing my place, but I would look closer to see. There's probably a lot there that shows us that that's a true accumulation. Why? Because we know what happened. Anyway, not a bad day. I grew my account, and hey, I will take it, because I hate those days when I get to the end of the day and I go, well, I lost 60% today. Why? Because of FOMO, bad decision making, maybe even not paying attention, jumping into trades when I shouldn't have. I should have analyzed a little more. But anyway, we're all learning, aren't we? Anyway, trade recap. No Renko stuff here today. No Wyckoff method today. This was just really more like institutional candle. Looking at institutional candles. Why? Because I've noticed that the news, the news. Let's say this was a news thing. Okay, it wasn't, but let's say it was. They take news and they run it through the ceiling, right? Well, the question is, everybody has this question of, when's it going to stop? Right? Was it here? No, it wasn't. What was it here? Or maybe it was here, or maybe it was here. Nobody knows. But if you're smart enough to go back and you look at, where is it touching? What's it next to? What institutional candle is it finding liquidity at? What area can they find liquidity at? Because here's what we do know. USD CHF, according to the sentiment is short. Okay? Why? Because all the retailers are going where? They're going long, right? USD CHF. Here, let me see if I can show it to you. Right there. Look at that. Oh, sorry. Messed up. Right here, look. USD CHF. Right there. Look, everybody's going long, so that means they are going to go what? They're going to go short. Why? Because that's how they get their stop losses, their liquidity. And so when you see a chart like that, when it's going through the roof and you're like, this isn't right. And look at this. They're getting more liquidity all day, all day, all day. So they're just reloading and reloading and reloading and reloading and taking, so that when they do tank, they're going to take all these people's stop losses, all this money. And we also know, based on institutional candles, that they hedge against themselves. I get it. I understand that. But I'm just saying sentiment generally is right. I know it's not a perfect indicator, because if you go to the daily, you say, well, what was the sentiment 3 days ago or 5 days ago? Look at that, or look at that. It was wrong. Well, I get it, but what I'm just saying is that sentiment isn't like a crystal ball, but it is telling you what the banks have to do. They have to do this. Why? Because everybody else is going the other way. If they'd never stood in the way to go hit their stop losses and find liquidity and get in better positions for themselves, they wouldn't make any money. And the stocks would all go one direction, right? Or these pairs would all go one direction. So it's a game of cat and mouse. So it's interesting to see this. It's just learning so much about this and institutional candles and the ability to know, like look back here, right? What we just talked about, the ability to know that when is it topped out? When is it topped out? Well, let's look back at the closest area of liquidity that we can find, the closest area that we can kind of examine in order to see where it might stop. There's a bunch of liquidity up here. Okay, let's back out here and look at that. Look at that. Right there. It came back to get some more, to reload, so to speak, just so it can tank again. It's going to go up. It's going to get more liquidity. It's coming back down. It's going to get a little more. I look at it that way and go, wow, look at that. That right there is an institutional candle. If you did not know what an institutional candle is, look right there, that bad boy. And let me ask you this: what do you think the rest of the move's going to be? You think they're just going to go up here, they're going to run it up like this, and then all they're going to do is just keep going against who? You know, they're going to be going with the retailers. They're not going to do that. They got to take their money. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling at this point. Thank you for your patience. This is the trade recap for the day. We'll see you later. Bye.